So when they put the capping on it, they didn't tuck it up. It just went straight back, and you can see what's left of the piece of wood. It's a beautiful day in West Grove, Pennsylvania. We're working on garage door jamb capping and trim. We're going to show you what happens when it's done wrong, and we're going to show you what it looks like when it's done right. Here we go. That's next on this edition of Forever Home. So a customer called us because the very center of their door jamb was starting to collapse and fall down. The reason for that, the nails were pulling out because the wood was water damaged. We'll edit in that picture here, show you what that before looks like, and we took a block of wood and screwed that up in to help hold that in place just temporarily so it wasn't going to fall down on anybody's head. And our crew's out here today. We're working on taking things apart, and not only was that top jamb rotted, but also the plate above it. And let's take you over here to the lawn and we'll show you some of the pieces that we've taken out so far. So this is the aluminum capping laid out as it was installed on the garage. Come off the garage down here to the ground. This is the end piece, and you can see the decorative return that they put in here. Generally, yeah, it looks like that's a reasonable way to have accomplished that, but you can see just how much wood is rotted and just left in here. All of this just moist, wet, disgusting mulch, essentially. And you don't want mulch holding your garage door header up. So you can see this is all that's pretty much left of the piece that was here on the right. And then over here we've got more of what was going on the left, and just completely and utterly destroyed. And so we'll show you what was happening here. This is the joint in the center of the garage door header. And one of the biggest challenges that the guys who installed this did is they brought this straight back, and that was it. And any water that lands on the front edge of this lip and runs backwards, where's it going? It's landing on top of this piece of wood, and it's just soaking. It's got nowhere to go. And if it gets down around underneath and it gets in here, it has no way out. So it just sits in the bottom of this metal under the wood and rots it from the bottom up. Completely destroyed it. All they had to do was cut this piece of metal before they bent it 2 inches longer and put a kick straight up on it. And if that lip had come up when the water ran back, there was nowhere for it to go because it would have hit that piece of metal. For 2 inches of aluminum, this whole piece got water damage, rotted out, and destroyed. So we're putting up the new 2x4 plate on the bottom of the cripples in this particular wall. When that piece is up and we've got our jamb legs where they have to be, the right one was also destroyed. We've got new 2x6 lumber down here. We've got a 10-foot and an 8-foot. We're going to make sure that the seam between the two is not necessarily centered in the wall, because we want the aluminum piece to be centered when it's done, so you see that joint. Well, I don't want those end grains. I don't want these two pieces of wood touching right in the middle. So if any water ever did get in there again, I want that much less surface area to be vulnerable. So we want to keep this joint kind of far away from that middle section if we can. It's just a belt and suspenders thing, making sure that we're putting it back together better than it was when we got here. So you can see the right jamb leg is still intact. So this is the decorative piece that gets capped. And here's the part that absolutely kills us. Norm was pointing this out to me. So I grabbed some pieces out of the trash and I put this back together for us. On the side, they actually had done this in two pieces. They were aware of the concept where they put an L piece here in the back, and then with that L piece here in the back, then they capped over it on the front. And that way if they had used house wrap, which they didn't, there was no house wrap on this, so there's no way to flash it. If they put that piece of house wrap on here, they could have overlapped this and it would have been very, very, very water resistant. And you couldn't have done this method. I wouldn't have done this method on the top. So if this was the top of the garage, what they would have had to do is put this piece in first and then do a full drip cap where it comes down, out, and over the front. And that would have allowed them to do it with smaller pieces of metal if that's what they were working with. So, but you gotta have this lip that runs up so we have somewhere to bring the house wrap down and over, keep the water from being able to run back and in. And because they didn't do that on the top, I mean, they knew the concept, they did it on the side. Why didn't you do it on the top? All right. So we've got our new plate up, we've got our new top jamb in place, and so this is ready for us to, almost ready for us to start capping. We got to pack this back out and bring another piece of OSB down where we had to cut it off to get this out, do all that kind of stuff. So we'll get this packed back out, and then we're about ready to start with metal. We're of course going to start from the bottom, work our way up, do the top second. And the homeowner doesn't want us to take all their siding down and put house wrap on here, so we're probably going to wind up using a butyl tape, taping it on, J-rolling that in, pressure sensitive adhesive, make sure that gets pushed in really tight. It's not the best method, but it's a good method in lieu of taking everything down and house wrapping everything, which would be the right way to do it, so that if any water ever got behind that siding, we would have full water control layer all the way down. It also helped keep the air from just blowing through those joints in the OSB. But this will work for now. He's actually talking about potentially new siding, new windows all the way around. So at that point, we could go in and make all those corrections that need to be made around the house, because there isn't any house wrap in a lot of places on this house. So we're gonna get this part put back together for now, and then when we come back and redo all that other stuff, we'll have that piece of metal sticking up that we can lap that over. So let's walk you through the next phase of the process here. The guys have done a phenomenal job of getting our piece of capping on the jamb. We'll spin the camera around this way. This is all one piece, continuous, comes out of the opening. The back edge will get covered by the weather strip that gets nailed on there, then around the front, and then it comes out onto the OSB here so that the house wrap can go over and we can get the multiple layers that we need. You know, J-channel, everything goes over this so that, you know, we're protecting that OSB sheathing back here, okay? Now, once the side jambs are up, we can start working on the top jambs. And again, one continuous piece comes out from the back side underneath, up over the top and back. We've got a drip cap over this side, we've got drip over the front, and then this back leg comes up. So any water that lands on the front edge of this, in front of the J-channel on the siding, if it rolls back, it hits this corner and it can't go anywhere except to come down the side and drop over the edge here. We'll squirt a little goop in that corner to seal that and get a couple of these pieces across here. And then the last step that we're gonna do, because we're not taking all the siding down and house wrapping this, we're gonna take window and door tape, and this is a butyl tape that it's pressure sensitive. We'll put that across the top right here like this, and then we're gonna take our J roller and we're gonna roll that in and put a lot of pressure on that and make sure that that is significantly adhered to both the metal and the wood. So any water that comes down the wood hopefully can't get behind here. Not my favorite solution, but in this case where the customer doesn't want to go through the hassle of taking all that apart and the expense of doing that piece correctly, we're gonna kind of band-aid it with this for now, and with the onus that he needs to talk very soon about getting the windows and the siding replaced in the house so that all the rest of this is brought up to speed. So this is kind of the technique for how this goes together, and if the previous installers had just added a couple inches of metal up here, we would not be having this conversation right now. So let's give you an end view what this piece of metal looks like here coming from the other side, okay? So that's gonna set right against the house, and it's one continuous piece that makes sure that no water is gonna get in and impact those jambs in a negative way. And then if we were to layer house wrap down over the face of this, the physical mechanical layers being in the correct sequence keep moving water to the outside. Any water that snuck behind the side and got on that house wrap came down in front of this, would land on this cap, and the only place it has to go is out and down. And so long as you don't get some well-meaning contractor come along and caulk the front of this, and home inspectors all the time tell me, oh, you gotta caulk something. Don't put caulk in there. It creates a dam. You lock that water in and the water can't get out. It's going to find a way into the house. You need to allow for drainage and drying. That's the most important piece in protecting your house, is drainage and drying. The water has to be able to get out. You need a little bit of airflow into that exterior cladding to allow things to dry. If it can't dry, it will die. So we'll call this the in progress photo. And through the magic of television, here's the after. So what problem can we solve for you? Roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks, anything on the interior of your home, bathrooms, kitchens, basements, plumbing, electrical, drywall, spackle paint. Building a destination, a custom dream home or garage, there's nothing our team doesn't do. If you're tired of contractors not calling you back, we have a dedicated office staff standing by to answer your calls weekdays 9:30 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon at 484-748-0008. Choose option 2 for Cope Built, your full service construction and renovation company, and extension 2. For new projects, Cope Built is a Pennsylvania registered home improvement contractor number 88078. Remember, we're finished with it. You'll be proud to say it's not just done. It was Cope Built. We'd love to know where you heard about us, how you found our channel. Leave some notes down in the comments below. Ask us some questions about this project or other ones that you're working on. We try to answer each and every one of those as best we can. You can find us on Facebook.com/Cope Built. Search for Cope Construction and Renovation. Find us there. If you're watching with us on YouTube today, hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get updated on all the cool, awesome things that we're doing here at Cope Construction and Renovation. Make sure you like this video. Tell the folks at YouTube that you found it valuable. That'll help them share it with some other folks. And if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you leave a comment. Let us know what's going on in your world, what you're working on at your place. Share this video with your friends. We do appreciate all of that. We'll catch you on the next edition of Forever Home. Bye for now.